chair of the board, Curtis, and we're going to do a roll call. So, Whitney, you house
Here.
Bobby K. Here. Jason Critchlow.
Here.
And Ryan Hill.
It's pulling in right now.
Oh, okay. Are we okay? So that gives us more.
There, keep going. We got one.
Okay. First up is going to be the approval of the minutes, and those minutes are from the November 19th, 2024 meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look at them, and thank you to Samantha for sending those out. Are there any changes we need to make to that?
Not for me.
None? None, I'll entertain a motion. That's the November 19th. Oh, November. Do I have a second?
I say.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? It approves, 4-0 vote. Okay, I screwed up there. I forgot to approve the agenda. Approval of the agenda.
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Okay, the agenda is approved. We've approved the minutes, and number 5, we have public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak here publicly? Anybody online? Are they allowed to?
This is not a live link.
Oh, it's not like
No,
that.
this is just for recording us. I got your stuff set up for you.
We saw you pull in, so we've started.
Didn't get lost this time.
So we're right now on the public comment section. Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing none, gentlemen? No. Okay, we'll move on to the next. New business, ambulance service. I would assume it's going to be Chief County.
You did.
Did I? Yeah.
If you want to talk about it, go ahead.
Go ahead. You want to talk about it?
So, there's two sides of this. Is we've always talked about our ambulance service. It's really a critical part that we begin to provide transport, at least allowed to have the transport capability by June 1st of this year. Has to do with the certification of our paramedics and our lead paramedics that have them be able to maintain it. There's a few people out there that are opposed, let's say, or opposition to our successful territory that want to make things a little bit difficult for us. One way to making that difficult is if we have a lapse of service for 6 months, our paramedics begin to get their certs to jeopardy. So we really don't want to allow that to be exploited. To that end, one of the things that came about, and you have a packet in front of you, and more importantly on page 2 of that, you'll see this very nice looking ambo that is available for us to purchase. The one thing that I really like about this ambo is the fact that if you're familiar with FDIC, which is the Firefighter International Instructor Conference, hugely wildly attended. This ambo is being built by Braun. It's going to be on their showcase at FDIC in the middle of April. So we have an opportunity that we could buy this ambulance. It could be graphic with St. Joseph County Fire Territory on it. And then everybody who comes by who wants to be a naysayer that says they don't know what they're doing, will see this ambulance that we would then take delivery on around the mid to late April, about a week to 2 weeks after FDIC is when they release it to us to be delivered or had. So I don't know, you can see on the last page, it comes with the price tag, being that it's a new model off the street, it's a demo, no mileage on it. Once we add in a few of the things that have to be added to it, like a striker cot and purchase a life pack, those are probably 2 biggest items we would have to buy, regardless of what ammo we bought out there. It still comes up to $500,000 purchase. So I don't know, in talking to Jason, I know we're talking about maybe doing some bonds later this summer. If we want to do this as a purchase of the bond, it would be a great way to start off our ambulance service and start providing that. I can tell you right now, on a side note, we're seeing pushback. Just had a case this past Friday. Our guys are on scene, they're taking care of a patient. that patient required advanced care to be transported to the hospital. The South Bend medics refused to allow our lead medics on the truck to continue in the transport to South Bend. So it's really not a good, safe situation they're putting our patients in, which is why I think we really just need to step up our efforts to secure an ambulance. So I'd like to put that out there for discussion. I suppose from your perspective, from a bond, I don't know if this is something you can afford in that or want to do, or where we're at with
This
that.
is brand new.
Yes.
So Portage Township Board has approved the initial resolution to move forward with a bond, acquiring a bond, and our timeline has us being funded in May. And in that budget, $500,000 are included for a new ambulance. So it hasn't been voted on specifically by the board, but that's tacit approval that the board, there was no objections at that board meeting. You know, Ryan, feel free to chime in there, but just speaking from my seat, the board is aware that that this request is out there and that the bond money would be used for that. I think it would just probably be titled in Portage Township's name, that being the case, but Ryan, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Well, and I know this was one of the big concerns with the Warren Township people is they want an ambulance out here.
Right.
So, I think we need to be doing more to make clear how much of firefighters' work is medical and ambulance, because people don't think of that, so they think, you know, just not doing the things. So it makes sense. The only question is like, we were looking at something that was a little older, what would be trade-offs on that?
I think if we went to older, most of the stuff, yeah, you probably could save, let's say it's 200,000. But you're going to have something that has 100,000 miles on it. Is most of the stuff that we've looked out there that we have seen is in that range. So we probably could try to find something on that. If we spec a new unit also, we probably would add 200,000 to it. So by it coming off as a demoed unit, we kind of get in that middle of that spot. We didn't write the spec. It's something that Braun, in this case, is building. They're building it with the idea they're going to put it in FDIC. They're looking for somebody now to have the ownership of that. It actually comes off the line here sometime in the month of March here. They said there's still enough time they would put our graphics on the side of it and things of that nature for the show. So that's why.
FDIC, I'm hearing Federal Deposit Insurance.
So FDIC is in Indianapolis every year.
Oh, okay.
It's the Fire Instructor Development Conference, I think is what FDIC stands for.
It's the largest.
It's attended by, in the Midwest.
Almost the world.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's probably attended by, you know, what, 30 or 40,000 people, I guess, is every year. It's a week-long convention. We normally go to that convention, or people will go to that convention to see the latest and greatest gadgets. They'll attend classes. They have 3 or 4 days worth of what they call hot classes that are on scene. And they also have about a 3 or 4 day exhibit where you'll see all kinds of fire trucks, new apparatus, and everybody goes around taking pictures of it. And I'm sure we'll get some pictures of this at that show. But, so it's a big,
When is it?
second week of April, 11th through 12th.
And where is it?
Indianapolis. You might want to go.
You know where the convention center
Yeah,
is? Convention center is packed wall to wall, every room.
Including the Lucas Oil.
And Lucas Oil,
It's
I mean,
Lucas Oil and the convention
packed,
center.
Rafters full of trucks, equipment, people. I mean, it's probably attended by
It's in Indianapolis.
200,000 people.
I would like to go.
I can get you a free pass to go.
This year, I'm going to be in
Okay. And so it kind of adds it as a firefighter, when one of your trucks is in that
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
A word for the minutes on the need to, we have paramedics on staff right now, right?
Correct.
And if we do not have an ambulance in-house by May, they lose their certifications?
They could. Especially the lead medic side of it. The medics, we probably could work around that a little bit, but the lead medics, which is that top level of care of even the paramedics, that's where they would have to go back through a process to become recertified, and that'd be very difficult for us to do.
What's the cost on that process, on recertification?
It's more of a time and number of runs. So it normally can take, if you're on a very busy service, like say the city of South Bend, 9 months to a year and a half to get your lead status. But you're also making 20 runs a day. So on ours, it would be a very lengthy process to have our guys to go through the process to become a lead medic if they lose their certification.
It would be a good thing to just have on the website as part of the justification for this, an estimated cost, like number of man hours.
Sure.
Equipment, all of that, and that would be a very easy way to say, like, between these, we went with this option.
Well, I think I would be in favor of if the chief as a follow-up to this could send an email to me requesting this, and then we ask the Portage Township Board to vote on it in their March meeting.
So this would be totally, in that case, it would be totally funded by Portage Township?
That's right, it would be a Portage Township owned vehicle.
Okay.
We would get the money, you can order it, I assume we'd be able to order it and then we pay for it.
We wouldn't, yeah, we won't have to, money wouldn't come until it's delivered. So end of April, and my guess is we could probably work with them a little bit on that. If we had to delay delivery by a week just to satisfy them, I think we could work with the dealer on that.
Well, would there be any participation in one of them? Like, any support in that?
Well, if it was that way, then I don't think this is jointly owned. There's not, because we'd be paying for it, we'd be paying for it with bond money, there's probably not a mechanism to do any joint ownership on an apparatus like that.
Okay.
If we were to throw in on something, we would have to throw in our respective amounts per the tax levy ditty. And we would have to throw in the fire territory fund to purchase it. It would have to be, Warren would have to throw in throwing you almost $400,000 and then it would be owned by the territory in that regard. Because in the event of a dissolution, the Portage Township would retain ownership of this, or the value of it would go back to Portage Township.
And also,
Portage bought it.
and the other plug for having an ambulance is we want to talk about beginning to expand our territory to bring in others. One of the things that even last week when I was at another township's meeting, they brought up, well, you guys don't have ambulance service yet. Yeah, we're going to have that by June. So yes, next year when we're talking about trying to expand and cover you, we are certified to provide that ambulance transport and a higher level of care than you currently receive. And that's what we're selling.
It's really just
Speaking as a Warren Township trustee, I've been, Steve and I have had conversations over the years, and, you know, when I served on the council with Councilman Kennedy, the conversation always came up about ambulance service out here in the county, and, you know, what the county's paying the city, vice versa. But now, I'm going to speak for the board, Warren Township board, as a trustee, I'm very in favor of this. I just want to make sure you got everything on it that you need, you know?
We believe we have. Yeah, we believe we have, and yeah.
You will be busy.
We will be busy. It will be busy. Yeah.
Statistics show that.
So do we make a motion to officially move?
I'd like to jump.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Beginning with someone who saw a fire department grow the ambulance.
Yeah.
2 years, and then actually being part of a different department, Penn Township, when I was there, and watched them start up an ambulance service. I know how hard it was, and I know sometimes gaining in your hospital control, I guess, are you dealing with Dr. Geronica?
Joyce.
Pardon?
Joyce.
Dr. Joyce, okay, much better than who used to run that. But yeah, it can be very difficult in that. In another lifetime, I happened to be a city councilman, and I remember the ambulance. I remember a certain chief saying, our ambulance pay for everything. I really got into the finances. And the ambulance don't, but if you run it right, they can cover their costs. You're not.
I think you're right. If you can have the ambulance billing cover your consumable supplies, I think you're doing well.
Yes, they are.
And I think you're doing well. Is it going to be a for-profit part of your business? No. But if you can do enough billing to recoup your consumable supplies, you're doing well. And we have Samantha researching right now to set us up with the billing agency that we're going to contract out with to do all the ambulance billing.
When I looked at it, I thought it even covered the cost of the paramedics.
It can. They're consumable.
And that's
Okay,
No, I'm
and
just
that's kind of the model, Clay Fire, to get more manpower on the scene of their fire, they built that model.
Yeah.
To add the manpower, but it was even balance on there, so, and honestly, I've always thought you guys have been neglected way out here. I totally think the state might be up to something, you never know what's gonna happen, but they had us, and we got yanked into helping, commissioners on that whole EMS
plan.
delivery plan. So I think the state's finally realized, yeah, it's kind of screwed up, and there ought to be a little more control. Now, there's little, probably in the rest of the state, some of the rural counties that are totally rural, it's all messed up, but, I don't know, that would be interesting somehow if the state could find a mechanism.
Well, if you even look at the ambulance that responds to this fire station comes from the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
That's a long way away, particularly in the wintertime. That's a long way away. And that's a long way. And, so that's where I advocate, to Bobby's point, of having one in the township. We're large enough now where we're at, of having it's gonna be staffed out of this station. You're putting it in the middle of your fire territory. It makes the most sense to do.
Could we maybe get, a little tag on there, sponsored by Jaworski's Meat Market?
Jaworski's Meat Market. Go fill your arteries indirectly.
So it would be stationed here at 19.
Yes.
I think it would be appropriate for a motion for the territory to request Portage Township purchase, simply because the territory will have to staff this. So although it's Portage Township vehicle, the costs and operations are going to be incurred by the territory. I would oppose. I would call that.
So you're making that motion right now?
I would make the motion, yeah. I would make a motion that we would request that we ask the chief county to send an email to Portage Township requesting purchase.
I'll second that. Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? Okay, pass it.
Was that Ryan or Bobby that second? Okay. Making some scratch notes just to help Samantha.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, next up is, old business. Do we have a presenter for this? No old business, okay. We'll move on to the next, provider unit report.
Yeah, I think all I have for us today is just to review the budget, and then I'm sorry, but I have a 6 o'clock downtown that I've got to get back for, so, happy to, happy that this is updated from last month now and includes payroll, so this is all correct through February 28th, pointing out that we're 83% of the way of the year. Account 11032 is always going to be something that I'm kind of keeping an eye on, as far as, just all of the account series 1000 in the admin account here is making sure that we're where we need to be. So as you can see there, the account total is at 85%, which is good. But I would call your attention to the line 35,000, where we had to stick a lot of our startup expenses in there. A lot of that was the medical. We had to pay quite a big fee for every firefighter to be physicals, yeah, for the for perf. So that was pretty pricey. We didn't have that in your budgeted, obviously. And then I've asked Lana to go through and make sure that there's nothing else in there that could be applied to the equipment replacement fund. But you can see on the second page, also lots of startup costs that we were able to apply to that. But a big note on the equipment replacement fund, because obviously we're going to have to do an additional appropriation at some point in the year to make this not a negative appropriation or a negative balance. The 225, that is what our allocation is for the state this year. So that is what our levy will support for the year. But the equipment replacement fund received a cash influx from a particularly Warren Township, but from Warren Township and Center Township due to the dissolution. So there is money there. There is cash money that's available to be appropriated to that. So it's not a huge concern of mine. It's unfortunate here with the second month of the year. If on paper we blew through the entire equipment replacement fund, which we did, but we do have additional cash on hand that can be appropriated to that. We won't ask for that additional appropriation until later in the year.
I have a question on 1132 you mentioned. So it's saying expenditures at percent of total expended, but unexpended 84. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. Was there a startup Because you said the physicals were in miscellaneous, right?
So say the question again, on 11032?
Yeah, trying to figure out what's going on with that 45% of total expense.
That's the total expenditure.
That's the budget.
Right. That, not expenditures. Total of the budget. Percent of total expenditures.
Payroll versus
Of all
45%.
expenditures that we've made, 45% of them.
Oh,
Not
I
of the
see.
budget. Yeah, I know, I hate that one.
That's a weird one.
It is.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't.
I actually don't like either of the two columns. The only column I like, which I really refine one.
For that last.
School appropriation is good to know.
No, appropriate, yeah, percent of, but even percent of total, that's out of the entire 4.9 million. How much of it is that line item? It just doesn't tell you much.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So yeah, no, good thing to call out. Unfortunately, I just consider that line. So, yeah, I suppose we should, the good practice would be a motion to accept the financial report.
Do I have a motion? So moved.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Okay, so we've accepted.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else.
Next up is the fire chief.
So you can see in your packet there, the run report. Slightly fewer runs this month. I am going to begin next month to put in the running total, so you can see, I think January we had 144 runs. For February, we have 114 runs. You can see our breakdown of where we went for providing other people assistance and where we received assistance from other people too, so. And our response times are still tracking to be very well. And then also you can see our training report numbers there.
You guys have four cardiac arrests.
What's that?
Is it four cardiac arrests?
Yeah. It's all that Jaworski's sausage.
Gotta get a health program going on. No, that's the nature of it.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
That's the thing to highlight. We had 2 fires, 84 EMS accidents.
Yeah, when you look at a total run count of 114, 84 of them were EMS. Yeah,
That'll be.
19 motor vehicle crashes. So,
See if that goes up here.
yeah, well, until the police started their patrols out there, we were going out there 4, 5, 6 times a day to Amazon for accidents. But now that they've started their patrols, those have helped that number go down a little bit. But also the bypass, yeah, it's, you get a little bit of snow and it's nobody's friend out there, so. And then you can also see our training numbers there. We now have our vector solutions, our target solutions is up and going. So our guys are starting to get all of our logging now of our required trainings and things of that nature going. And that, it's not on here, but from a personnel standpoint, our goal of having 12 guys per shift, we had 1 guy start this past Tuesday. He'll fill out our B shift. We have another guy that starts, okay. We have another guy that starts the middle of this month. He'll fill out our C shift opening, and then we have another guy targeted to start the middle of April, and that will have all 3 shifts will be staffed, which will help. Right now we're filling that vacant spots with overtime, so that will help our cost there from a coverage perspective. So of course that will be in the vacation season for the summer, but at least we won't be using overtime to fill just a shortage there, so. Facilities, our new Station 18, we're scheduled right now to do a walkthrough next week on Tuesday of just the living quarters. They got about 2 weeks left to finish the apparatus bay. So we're hoping maybe 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere in that period, we'll start operating out of there. And then at that time, we'll get Bobby set up in our current fire station, will be the new township trustee's office. And we'll get all that set up here. Hopefully by the end of March, we'll be live with all that, so.
Do we want to talk about that here?
You know, I don't know if now or later, you know, what we do in terms of, I wanted to get with Bobby to find out for sure, like if you want internet, you know, right now we have a big pipe. You might be able to scale that down and make that a little more economical for just a person with an office. We probably don't need the same size internet we have right now. We have a dedicated internet just for dispatch. So I think in the next week or so here, I got to sit with Bobby and say, okay, what do we need to change and alter for the utilities there?
Because the fire territory is gonna be using it for storage.
Yeah, well, we're going to use apparatus bay for doing repairs on our trucks, and we're going to use some storage. So it's not just a township building. How are the utilities split up? Do we split that?
We need to understand the territory should, I mean, ethically speaking, the territory should pay for
Something.
something there, even though it's a township building now. But if we're using it for territory business, so, yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, so I figured we'd just get together something the next,
I mean, we don't need to like split hairs, it's like.
yeah. When we start getting you all set up, moving in, say, okay, here's what we can do and things of that nature. So, or what makes the most sense. I mean, we're not going to make money off utilities. So but yeah. That's my facility update.
Real quick.
Yep.
Since you got the report. You said Vector Solutions, is that like Lexington?
Vector is the new Target Solutions. So Vector Solutions bought Target Solutions and a few other places, but the Target Solutions where you can go online to do the training.
Training and all that.
Yes. And then Vector Solutions is now integrated with Acatus.
Okay.
So they're moving toward, and Andy probably can speak more to this, but they're moving toward where when you do your certification stuff, it'll actually then flow directly into the goals, into the state recertification through the Acatus certification portal.
Do you have Lexipol?
Yes.
Do you use the Lexipol?
We have Lexipol.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because it actually, you do something stupid, you're just stupid.
Yeah, here's your stupid rule for your stupid action, and that's what,
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
But I remember you talked about something that was a little cheaper to get than,
not the Lexipol. Lexipol is the best thing to have for fire departments. Lexipol is an employee manual written for fire departments by attorneys.
Yeah.
And
covers everything.
everything. So you put it in there. Here's the best practice law that's been written out that says this is what your social media policy should say and whatever. So we've adopted that, and that's what we use as our guideline there.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, other reports, Union Rec.
Good evening, thank you for inviting us to participate. I'm Mark James, Vice President of Local 497. Main Bishop's on shift today at Station 41, and we didn't have much business to report. Other than, he just wanted me to mention that our leadership team went to training last month in Indianapolis for newly elected officers. So me, myself, and Jeremy King went to training in Indy for 2 days. It was very helpful. It'll help us, I think, as we move forward. Megan and I and Jeremy were very pleased with the transition to the new territory. It's been very smooth, very little, if any, difficulties with the transition, meshing the two departments together and all the new employees. We've had a labor management meeting with Chief Downey in February. We'll plan another one in March 13th.
Did you get my email on that too, by the way? We've had some issues with our St. Joe County emails not going out, so I don't know if you got that email or not.
I think I might have seen something about labor management.
Okay.
So at labor management, we just try and approach problems before they occur and tackle situations, so they won't become a problem. We've had good success with that so far, and hoping to keep that evolution going.
In regard to that, I'd ask Buddy, if he would sit on and represent the territory board with his knowledge of firefighting to be on that labor management board. So we have 2 people from the union, 2 people from the admin side, a neutral party on there, just to talk about problems and ideas ahead of time. Our next meeting being on the 13th at 9 a.m. So if you can make it, that'd be great. If not, then I think we'll still probably meet, but hopefully make one in April.
I'll double check that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all we have to report.
What are your questions?
Pardon me? Local 4927.
4927. Okay, next up, other discussion items.
Probably not overly critical, but I will be out of the country April 6th through 19th. Just as FYI, taking my wife to the Netherlands. So Andy will be in charge while I'm gone.
screwed up.
Has there been any discussion in regards to Mark, you know, when we did that development agreement out west, of bringing all the fire territories together for training?
It's part of the development agreement, this is Bobby referring to the Amazon and the GM, Samsung, the development agreements. They're required to train New Carlisle, said Warren at the time, and Portage, specifically in South Bend.
Clay?
I don't know if Clay was included, I'm not sure if Center was included.
Clay wasn't.
Where they, maybe Clay was included, but a requirement of us approving the rezoning for the battery plant was they would teach fire departments about batteries. And they're in their infancy right now, they're laying footings and foundations to build a building, hoping they can steel up by this spring. But there is a requirement, you're right, as part of the development agreement, they're required to do 4 trainings per year with local fire departments on batteries and anything that relates to that plant.
Yeah.
But that is a
So
requirement.
there hasn't been any notice or.
Nothing done on it yet.
Most steel.
It might be good for us to remind them of that though, because they might start giving us some information that.
Now there's a meeting Friday, with all the main players in, construction meeting.
Oh, is there?
Friday.
Okay. On the GM Samsung?
Yep, all about utilities and their plans for the area and all that.
Steel is imported from Canada.
Is it? I would
That's the majority.
In my job, we felt like we were left out, and maybe sometimes iced out. Not really by the county, Shelley will tell you anything, he's excited and he likes to include us. Maybe some other people out that way just forget about it or don't want to communicate with us. We got a good rapport with the building department, sharing information. I learned a tremendous amount from them about what's going on, but we talked with Bill Shallow because we're getting this multi-hazard mitigation plan, finishing it up and sending him some stuff to review. And we were talking and he invited us to that Friday meeting. Yeah, and what it looks like, it's actually kind of like state police are involved and it's kind of like what's gonna go on, transportation and things, but.
Except the GM, sorry, he's asking.
GM. How I wait, I'm sorry.
I was
But, I was, and I'm not sure, but I'm excited that we got invited to the table just to listen and learn. I'll be looking for any of that idea, because I read that in that whole, and that is a beginning agreement when they signed it with the commissioners and stuff. We found it in that clause about doing the training and stuff, because we're getting hit with, what are we doing for battery fires?
And keep in mind,
Maybe a blanket is about the only thing that works.
that is the newest technology, but keep in mind, the best way for them to increase their staffing out there is to join our fire territory. Would be the most effective way, so any.
Well, you know how that.
Yeah, oh, I know.
They do the Heisman pose.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually found that all of the board members are a little more aloof and not really engaged. They didn't really understand. Like, is it a problem? Like, so that's the lift.
Yeah.
Well,
I know Bobby knows, and I know that from redevelopment that none of the redevelopment dollars can be used for operations.
yeah.
So maybe if there's anything they can do is bring more station, I don't think they're the station study out there. Station study, things like that, maybe apparatus, but that's about it. There's no operation.
And, yeah.
Which is why I think Chief's point to the fucking territory from the best.
You know, my job, we don't want to run the show, but we want to bring everybody together. Come on, let's all talk, forget colloquialism and stuff like that, and that, so. But I must say, as a parting comment from me, just watching from 100 feet in the air, you guys are doing a great job here.
Thank you.
Transition, the professionalism is off the charts. Now, you entered the mill portal system, you get some great people, but I'm gonna tell you what, there's other areas of the state, this stuff is kind of going on, and it's a rodeo, it's a go rodeo. That's why they passed that state law on that merit board thing, because you had fire departments that were going for officers and very professional, now all of a sudden they want to do professional department. So you guys have created a good professional fire territory, expanding your service And that's what it's all about. So, no, so,
I think the battle we face is, as Mark knows, Bill's given everything to the township and the town of Goliath that they kind of asked for. You know, so why should they
Well, you,
think about doing anything?
because they can build a fire station, they just won't be able to put them in.
I agree with that, you know.
And we are facing the headwinds in that. I was with Mike Castellan today and I made a comment like, I didn't realize we were making such waves with our fire territory. He started laughing. He goes, oh yeah. You know, it's kind of in regards to Penn Township and some other stuff, so.
Yeah.
What's the issue there?
Well, they're all just sort of salty. Yeah, like there's.
We
We
said,
are now in this competitive environment with other territories that is, they're more interested in maintaining their own fiefdoms than.
in some respects too, the people we recruited, to his point about jokingly called it NIL money, the people we pulled from other departments are good people. It wasn't like the people they wanted to get rid of, and they were thankful that we hired them. It was people that were impact players that we recruited, and that's, it's more about, oh, wow, you really did leave, and that's, shock has kind of hit some of those other departments now.
Penn in particular was very
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, the person that we hired, was the former chief's uncle or nephew.
Very, very put off.
So that, Penn Township. So I mean, I think that's a blow when you think you're just,
Like, hey, look, people apply for jobs.
yeah.
I spent 10.5 years there, retired September 11th, 22. And yeah, I keep in touch, and a very couple close good friends, a kid named Aaron Moss. He took my position. You see, boy, they're struggling. They're struggling out there. And maybe the leadership wasn't quite where it should have been and some things.
Yeah.
And I just heard, we dealt with Madison Township, you know, I don't know, fire. They're rocking it down there.
You have a volunteer?
Yeah, there's a volunteer department down there.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job.
Hey, guys from other departments, but they're doing good. But
Yeah.
yeah, he told me some stories of some interaction they had, and I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. They're straight, yeah, so you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you guys are, and I appreciate you. I gotta run. The last thing I want to let you know about is Portage Township is hiring a facilities manager. The chief knows about this, but you might start seeing him in the stations, and that, you know, this is someone who will help whatever the chief decides and the leadership team decides to push off on as far as the fire station goes. But generally speaking, minor repairs.
When's he start?
Next week.
Good.
Yeah,
We have some issues.
Yeah, we got a new list going too, so
Yeah.
get your list going. I mean, so as far as changing light bulbs, fixing leaks, holes in walls, you know, hanging things up, that's what he's perfect for. HVAC, bigger jobs, we would want, you know, licensed, you know, local, you know, bonded folks doing that. But that's somebody you can hand that off to and say, I'd like you to fix it, have this air conditioner fixed. And now, you know, leadership of the fire department doesn't have to worry about it, it's being handled. Jamie's putting together a work order process, so you'll be able to submit work orders and prioritize them and all that. So, certainly going to do benefit. So, I gotta run. Okay.
You have to make a motion to adjourn at all?
Before we do, we got our next week's set schedule out. haven't we?
So we had said that first Tuesday, I think it is. So the first Tuesday of April.
Okay, so our meeting will be next meeting will be.
April 4th. Is it? Well, not April 1st.
April 1st is the first Tuesday in April.
Have the first, yeah, it is April 1st, wouldn't it? I will not be here though. I won't be gone to Netherlands yet, but I'll be in Columbus, Ohio, looking at our new fire truck.
Okay.
So, that's coming in 2 years.
Okay. So, but we're still okay.
It's still okay to meet, yes. Yeah, still okay to meet.
Motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All against? You're adjourned. Thank you.
Very good.
So what was going on with